Good morning. It's me, Pearl from Pearl and the Prayers, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And we're about to take a look at the divine masculine, divine feminine balance inside of ourselves. Understanding whatever state we find this energy in, we can expect to see reflected back to us in our outside world. If we want to see changes in our interactions with others, in our environment, then we do really need to go within and make changes inside of ourselves and shift our own energy, yada, yada, yada. You know the deal. If you've been watching me for a minute now, we're going to start with Divine Masculine because he has the most cards showing. But actually, you know what? We're going to start with the whole reason I started the account. We're going to start with the music, which I always forget to mention. But it was significant today, so it stood out to me. There were three songs that played during the entire shuffle, and the first one was "You're Only Looking for Tension" was the main thing that was repeated a lot in the song, and it was like this insecurity in regards to what divine feminine really wants, and it, it makes me think about. I just saw like some kind of meme yesterday that's like, people have to vilify someone in order not to be sad that. So I got like a feeling of that. It was like this fear, um divine masculine has. So he's like trying to make it seem like, oh, it's she's not really in this like anyway, just that fear that he has. But it was followed by How High the Moon, which is, somewhere there's music, how faint the tune, right? Like I he's got such conflicting feelings. And then the next thing up for divine feminine was In the Backseat. And it was really like, I thought of a couple things. I thought, number one, she doesn't want to drive anymore. She wants divine masculine to take the wheel. And she's just, it's like, I like the peace in the back seat. Like, I'm just going to take a back seat and just sit back and like be on this ride, but kind of a defeated feeling too. Just like, you know, I can't steer the ship, so I'll just chill here in the back seat for a minute then. All right, let's go. Top of the deck, overall headspace, forefront of the mind for divine masculine is the Knight of Pentacles from the Housewives. So we see this very responsible young man, slowly and steadily building up his savings so he can get like a shiny new bike, kind of energy. And this willingness to just show up and be stable and reliable every single day. It's this energy, solid, stable offer, but slow kind of energy, because it takes a long time to build something solid. So divine masculine is experiencing thoughts in regards to the slow moving energy, wanting to pick up the pace. I think being ready now, like having done that work to build up, like he's ready to get the bike. He's ready to go buy the new bike. And there's like a feeling of the motion that comes from the Knight of Pentacles is picking up in its speed, especially when we look at the rest of the spread today, which is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty good. I didn't look at it too much. So I don't want my ego to be here. Get at it. Okay. So he wants to pick up the pace because he's been going real slow. The niggling thing in the back of his mind, underlying all of his thoughts, decisions, choices, is the Six of Pentacles. And it's this brilliant image from Housewives Tarot where we're seeing the pentacles are actually around this plate here. These are the treats. Good morning, Ash. These are the treats that he's presenting or being presented with. And this is like the little devil. And then we've got this ghosting energy. I love this card. But it's upright and it's underlying everything. And there's this momentum that's being, this movement, this motion now from this snail's pace to maybe just kind of really coming in pretty swiftly, actually, to claim victory. And being excited, like being delighted that he can finally reciprocate. And I think having some tricks up his sleeve about how he's going to do this. There's a delightful energy from that card. Like I feel like giddy. And then we have the King of Pentacles. This is the very first thing on his mind. So divine masculine is really feeling in his worthiness right now. He's feeling like he has a stable foundation. He's got command of his coin. He's feeling with the Six of Pentacles underlying everything in his mind. He's feeling this ability to be able to reciprocate and really share the wealth that he has accumulated. His worthiness energy is like looking good right now. This looks really good. Just think, okay, so this next card is the Knight of Swords card in reverse. But I'm not getting the usual interpretation here. Normally, when we see the Knight of Swords in reverse, I'm going to say things like there's a resistance to being honest with himself. Or, you know, maybe he's not really following a strategy or a plan or something. Or, but what I'm actually seeing is the reason why this card, particular from the Housewives Tarot, is presenting reverse to me is because we're seeing divine masculine releasing any recklessness, right? This is like the rebel without a cause kind of a thing when we look at this. And he's releasing any bad boy, like trying to be cool, like just, he's not trying to do that. And if there's any resistance to being honest with himself, it might be about how his ego required him to like be like, I don't care, babe. You know, like I love you and stuff. I got stuff to do. You know? And he's wanting to release that devil may care energy. Because he's realizing that it was about his ego, it was about seeming cool, it was about being afraid and hiding divine feminine energy. And he doesn't like looking at himself this way. He doesn't like seeing himself this way. So he doesn't like that this part of himself caused him to behave in certain ways in interactions with the divine feminine. But I think he does like the fact that he's like cool. But he doesn't like that this has been something that has prevented him from being able to fully reveal. But now we're seeing him release this tendency towards this whatever, you know, I just want to say it's like an indifference. It's like that because it's an air energy. It's kind of like this, just sort of like whatever, babe, like, but not feeling that way at all. Not at all feeling like whatever, babe, even for a second. Like the biggest mask of all is being like, you know, this doesn't affect me that much, right? And then not really being able to hide that either. But so the Seven of Swords is here and it's in reverse because of the unmasking that's taking place. You know, looking at the self and finding out that you've been pretty reckless and you haven't been in the light traits of the Knight of Swords. You've not been clear, direct, and honest with yourself and with others because you're protecting your ego. And releasing now this tendency towards these secrets, things staying hidden. And also I do see here this inevitable because of the next card, this third party story that keeps coming out for this union. But remember, third party doesn't have to be a romantic situation. It's just an energy that exists between the two energies difficult for those two energies to work together or integrate. It exists because of some kind of a fear or limiting belief on the part of the individual. And in order to support your reality, you will do really anything to make sure that your reality is true. So you'll throw obstacles in your way. And divine masculine is thinking about this this recklessness, how it was about his ego, how it has been, how it prevented him from being able to really be honest and truthful. Um, but he feels in that King of Pentacles, he feels empowered to be able to face this now. And he's also seeing himself as his own block to the reunion, the Three of Cups, to the celebration. His failure to like lighten up, his to be for him to be so serious and like always worried about protection and all of this stuff. Like he's just really he's really realizing that he just needs to just have more fun and not be so concerned about how he appears or how he looks to others, to the divine feminine. It's like he's just got to unmask and stop trying to appear cool. All that that is doing is covering up the fact that he doesn't feel cool at all, which becomes so obvious, right? When he fails to act. So he's just like, okay. And then the next thing on his mind, so we have some overthinking. Normally, the overthinking will kind of fall out in that last position, but today I felt that it was a clarification for this position, this second to the last position in the headspace. And the first card up is the Ace of Cups, and it's in reverse, and all these cups are in reverse that I can see. There's another cup staring at me in the heart space we're going to see in just a second. And all the cups are in reverse. These cups are being poured out. Now, because divine masculine is in his King of Pentacles energy and ready to reciprocate, I don't see his cup as being empty, but I see him thinking about how it became depleted. And that, of course, is in regards to having to cover himself, mask himself, hide himself from this third party energy. And how it was the lack of self-worth that produced this effect. And because he didn't feel that worthiness and had to hide himself, he didn't offer love to the divine feminine. But the clarifier for this Ace of Cups in reverse is the Eight of Wands. And here's that motion to emphasize the certainty I have that this Knight of Pentacles energy in reverse today is about picking up the pace. It's about no longer just, stopping at every watering hole and taking a fucking picture, but like actually moving your damn ass. Like he's really wanting to get a move on. There's messages here for divine feminine, and it's like an outpouring of love, most likely messages of love that he's wanting to send. But he's also thinking about how his lack of strategy and his need to appear cool, etc., has often resulted in the opposite effect of the messages that he sends. He wants to send messages of love. He ends up seeming needy and not at all meeting divine feminine's needs in the process. And he's thinking about that. But now he wants to be able to fully express this to her and tell her, it's my fault. I was really concerned about how this would appear. And because I didn't think I was good enough with that Ace of Cups in reverse, I didn't love myself enough. And so I hid my true self from you, from everyone. But the last thing on his mind is the Six of Wands. And just so to have the Six of Pentacles underlying everything, and then the Six of Wands, there's the victory is that the spoils of war that you have gained by this strategy. Because in the Seven of Swords, in the traditional Smith Waite, you're seeing somebody creep in and steal something and make off with it, like this clever energy. Basically, he was able to do whatever it is he needed to do just to liberate himself from the mask that he had to wear because of this third party energy. And now we're seeing this swift moving energy where he wants to be able to express this now to divine feminine. He's pretty happy about it. Okay, his heart space starts off with a very familiar energy. The Ace of Cups in reverse. So everything we just talked about this card with that clarifier of that Eight of Wands, right? So his heart and his head are in union about his desire to pour out this cup. There's also this understanding, this meditation and contemplation that is taking place where he's realized what it is that has been missing, which is like that spiritual connection to the divine, which is of course that feeling into this to the feminine side of self, like, and being in balance and understanding that when you come into balance and you're in alignment, that you're in touch with that higher power, that the spirit. So divine masculine's whole heart is wanting to pour out to the divine feminine. He's also still kind of learning exactly how to love himself in this process of learning how to express love to the divine feminine. It's been about really learning how to express love for himself. The niggling feeling in his heart space is this Eight of Swords in reverse. And I love this because it's like underlying everything, all of his feelings and emotions, is a release of any need to protect himself from his heart's desire and to protect himself from a lot of vulnerability, which is, obviously when you come and pour your heart out, it's extremely vulnerable, which is not something this divine masculine is overly comfortable with. We have this King of Pentacles. It's being clarified by this Four of Swords. And we're looking at him feeling what has caused grief, which has been sort of this focus on the material, his work, always having to just be in that material energy and keeping silent, being being unwilling to speak because he's concerned about how he appears, right? We already saw that in his headspace, because the next heart that comes out, and we have this stabilizing energy, another four. So that's the Four of Swords, and now we have the Four of Pentacles. And this is what he was reckless about. He was frantic to come in to divine feminine, but he couldn't come in truthfully or honestly. He was so attached, like clinging to her. And also attached to how he was perceived. There's that external validation thing that I was talking about in regards to this. He wanted to seem cool. And in order to seem cool, he remained silent. Like he was unaffected, or, like he was playing it cool. Fucking look at the fucking next card. It's the goddamn Knight of Swords in reverse. Oh my God. And it's clarifying the Seven of Swords, which we just clarified with the same card. So it's like, I don't even have to tell two stories anymore. I don't even have to be like, this is what the head is thinking and this is what the heart is feeling. I can just be like, remember what I just said? Yeah. Did I stutter? Yeah. No, I didn't. He wanted to be cool. And so he wore this mask, and he didn't come and speak honestly and truthfully because he was attached to how it looked, which is shit, by the way. So I get that feeling pretty shitty receiving that on the divine feminine side. Not cute. So, and he knows it. He feels it. He's like, yeah, I suck. That's why the Ace of Cups is in reverse, because he's feeling a whole lot of like, I suck, but I'm gonna tell you about it. But I suck for doing that. And that's why he doesn't like looking at it and seeing it and being honest with himself about it. This has been, and see the push pull. Knight of Pentacles is like, stop moving slowly. Knight of Swords is move slowly. And Knight of Swords in reverse is like, pull back on the reins, right? So there's that constant push pull that this divine masculine has from like the songs in the beginning. Just wanted attention and like, then, oh, I love you and I want to be with you forever. And you're so far from me. And it's like, what are you talking about? Who could even know at this point? So, yes, he was really attached to what people thought about him. So he was hiding. And this Three of Cups, which for his headspace was about releasing any blockages, any third party blockages that could include karmic partners, which could include parents, children, past partners. It can be rigid belief structures, whatever. He couldn't move. He couldn't move swiftly. He couldn't be honest because of how it would appear. And so he didn't make any changes. He didn't move. As the wheel would turn and shift, he would just cycle right back into the same old shit, because that's the next card. After the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, we've got the World in reverse. So he would just cycle through the same shit over and over again, which is, he would want to come into reunion and celebrate with Divine Feminine, but he would resist the wheel turning. And so that third party would function as a block for him. And then he would just cycle through the same thing, which is that he would then pour out these messages, which when they came out, because they came out in the Knight of Swords in reverse energy, they weren't necessarily honest. They were masked. They were, they might have had chivalry and integrity in them, but they were like not chivalrous and in their integrity, because he had to send them in. So he seemed and appeared needy and blah, 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 blah. So Divine Masculine has to super, super, super change these behaviors and end these cycles so that we can finally see the final cards, which is a bunch of overfeeling. This very full speed ahead with this Chariot energy, balancing the masculine and feminine energies inside of self, no longer at their mercy. But this Chariot is followed by this. So we've got victory here in the headspace, and we've got a heart that is thinking and 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 thinking about it. But the Chariot requires full surrender of the thinking. The Chariot requires what? The last song in the shuffle today. Get in the back seat. Get your ass, mirror Divine Feminine. Get in the back seat of this Chariot, and all this noise can happen, but it doesn't even matter. You're just like, okay, Brian. Okay. You're afraid of that too? Okay. You don't think you can have that too? Okay. All right. Okay. I see you. I get you. But I don't care, because I'm not driving. The divine is driving. So I can be anxious. I can be nervous. And I think that's what we're seeing too. He's really nervous because of this final card. It is time, right? We've got the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, and we've got the Three of Wands in reverse, which is about impatience, but it's not about impatience. It might be about impatience with himself for torturing himself to death with this constant cyclic loop, thinking about this over and over again instead of just expressing like he wants to do. But he knows that his victory is here, and he's nervous about it. He can see the ships coming in. He knows it's time, and he's like, fuck. And I don't blame him, because it's a lot. Let's go see Divine Feminine. I don't even know what to expect from her. I'm not very tuned into myself today. All right, let's see. Oh my God. Divine Feminine. Top of the deck for you, my dear, is This is the forefront of the mind. Overall headspace is this devil card in reverse. So that's good. You have stopped. You, this nine of swords over here, divine masculines heart. You're like, baby, I feel you, but I'm not thinking like you right now. I am not obsessed anymore. I am not single mindedly focused on the lack of a manifestation. I am not codependent. I am not deep into my addictions. I'm releasing these bonds, or I have been released from these bonds in regards to my devil energy. So, whatever it was that Divine Feminine has been machinating over in her brain, she's done machinating. She's like, no, I'm not going to surrender to those fears and anxieties. And I am just going to trust that I'm safe and protected and that I can maintain my independence from control, from being controlled by my desires. The niggling feeling, the niggling thing in the back of our mind is the Two of Pentacles in reverse. So she's chosen to release a toxic relationship or job or behavior. She's like, I'm done. I am no longer going to juggle the like trying to have these two things. I'm just going to I'm just going to choose me. I'm going to choose me. I'm not going to choose the thing that seemed to consume me. I'm not going to let my ego be the one that decides how to balance the scales, because it's not the ego that is good at that. She knows it's the divine. So she's really choosing to just relinquish this, whatever toxic thing has been really a big burden and a big responsibility for her to have to constantly go back and forth in regards to, like, it's kind of, I'm getting the sense of like when you're trying to quit something and you have to do that many times before you're successful. It's like finally she feels successful. She's quit doing something and it's really helpful. But the first thing on her mind is this Justice card, which keeps coming up in my readings. I keep using this deck and I keep putting it in different places. Sometimes it's in the head space, sometimes it's in the heart space. And no matter where she goes, this Justice card comes out. She even appears, I believe, in the, I just did the reading for Patreon subscribers. If you click the description box, there is a link to Patreon. And if you subscribe at the $3 level, every month you get a check-in where I use a 7-card spread to go through each aspect of our lives through the month and what we are bringing in with us and what we should shift to, like, kind of have a good start on our month or whatever. So I did that last night and she came out in this card, and that'll be coming out on the 1st if you're interested in that reading. And there's other content available for Patreon subscribers as well. Regardless of Patreon, she's thinking of justice, balancing the scales, and a lack of justice to a certain extent. She's made a decision, yes, to relinquish something, to give up a bad habit, to stop doing something, but there's still sort of a feeling of like, whatever it is that I had to do, it's really not fair that I have to do it. But I did it. And I know how karma works. And I know that because I experienced something that is not fair, that there will be a swinging of the pendulum back in my direction. That's always what happens. And the next thing on her mind is lovely, because it was already on divine masculine's mind. And it is this chariot energy, which for some reason I can't find. There it is. It is the chariot. They're in union here. And to be in union in the chariot energy is beautiful because it's moving forward, moving to the next phase together as a team in alignment. I had the pleasure of virtual alignment with my divine masculine for a moment today, and it was very nice feeling of being like, oh, here we are together. And so although my experience was probably different because my app was freaking out and being so weird. It was like playing random songs from other stations. Like it was really weird. Anyway, the, the chariot energy um that's here is it's really to see the devil in reverse and the chariot is so encouraging for divine feminine because that is a really clear message of the relinquishing of the ego here, no longer being controlled by the ego. The next thing on her mind is the moon. So there's still mystery and secrets. And um there's still she's understanding that there's still subconscious limiting beliefs. Um and that's been also what that devil card in reverse is about. It's like shadow work, right? Releasing shadow or integrating shadow, um, and really relying on the divine to help her balance this energy and that chariot energy, trusting in her intuition. And then we're seeing the Five of Swords, and it's regards to the injustice. And she's feeling a defeat here. Like I said, there's something that is unfair, and she's just sort of accepted it and understands that, like, at this point in time, I'm going to accept this injustice, knowing how karma works, knowing that the divine is driving this chariot. I like the peace in the back seat, right? That was her song today. You know, I like the peace in the back seat. I like that I'm not trying to drive this car. How incredible is Spirit that that is the song that came out today, and then these are the cards. I can't. I just want to cry. It's so amazing. I'm happy. I'm happy Divine Feminine is thinking like this. I love seeing her give up. Give up. Because trying to control means you're afraid, and you're not. Because here's your Nine of Swords, and you're not afraid at all. You're not even a little bit afraid. Divine Masculine's nervous, but you're not. Because you're not driving, and you know it. As soon as you have that faith and surrender, all the fear goes away because you were never good at driving anyway. Let's just be real. I mean, my ego's offended because I was a Lyft driver in Los Angeles, and if anybody can fucking drive, this bitch can drive, okay? Okay? I didn't die in like 9 months of driving every single day during all the rush hours. Oh my god. So I'm like, excuse me, I can drive, but you know what? I can't drive. I can't. Worth a shit. Because there's so many times when I would be like, I almost died, and God saved me. I'm not bad. My dad would kill me if I was a bad driver. I just get a little pushy sometimes after a long day on the road. But that's it. I'm a very cautious driver. I got high ratings. My ego. She's not afraid because she's not driving. And the person who is driving, or the entity that is driving, the aspect of self that is driving, is way better at driving this. So she's like, dude, I'm chilling. I'm gonna listen to a podcast and look out the window and just be chill. The last thing on her mind is interesting because we had the devil in reverse, which is like getting that ego under control. We had the chariot, which is like getting that ego under control. And then we have strength in reverse, which is like, girl, you gotta get your ego under control. But this is her awareness. This is her awareness. This energy, the things that are secret and hidden, this is what makes her feel weak. This is what challenges her the most, not knowing. She understands that that chariot is being driven by a very talented driver, but not knowing where it's going, where it's headed, how it's going to get there, what the ride's going to be like, if there's going to be rest stops along the way, you know. she's like, that really is challenging for her. And she needs a lot of strength. Her pride also, to still be kept hidden, to still be a secret. This is really challenging her pride. She's like, okay, bro, this is hard for me to deal with. I can't do this for much longer. I cannot. Right? That's her headspace. Damn. This is a really interesting reading today. Okay. Top of the deck, feeling of the heart space. Five of Pentacles. What is this card doing here? Divine Feminine. Why? It should be in reverse. Why is it upright? What's going on? And why is this the overall feeling of your heart? Because right now your overall feeling of your heart is, I'm out in the cold and I don't have enough of something. There's a lack here. And I'm recognizing that when for Divine Feminine, many, many times what we see for her is a head. Okay, girl, stop being afraid. Stop being afraid that you don't have enough. Are you serious? You're not even driving this bitch. What are you worried about? You got archangels like taking shifts on this car. You know, Jesus gets behind the wheel sometimes. So why are you afraid? Heart space, stop. Release that fear. Release the ego. Release this lack mentality. This isn't real, right? So we're seeing the Divine Feminine's headspace having to counter the fears of her heart space, which is like, I'm still in the cold and I might still be in the cold forever. And even though I gained ground, like maybe I'll lose ground and maybe I'll just end up back where I was when I started before. Maybe it'll be worse than before because now I know what it's like to have this and then I won't have it at all. And like, and the headspace is like, girl, bye. Because the niggling feeling in the heart space is this: the Emperor. This is not lack. This is the epitome of abundance. This is the foundation. This is solid, stable, grounded, able to command empires. The King of Kings energy. But look at what she's doing. She's clinging to this emperor because she feels like she's going to lose him. Because she keeps being told to let go of him. So this is what her heart is thinking of. And the first thing on her mind is the Empress. A match, but clarifying justice. Because Divine Feminine is feeling like she is not seeing justice, and it is making her shift into feelings of needing to protect, maybe being overbearing. So she's not doing this, but she wants to. But she's not doing it because she's releasing her ego, but her ego wants to. Her ego wants to be like just a super bitch about the situation and just be like, really, really? But she's not doing that. She's releasing the tendency to do that because she's understanding that it's just her fear of that lack, despite the fact that she has the underlying feeling of this Emperor energy in her heart space that makes her go into this overprotective, overbearing energy. But again, clarifying, and this clarified the Chariot below it. She's not afraid. Nine of Swords. Again, same meaning. It's like the same thing. Do I have two stories here? No. I'm only at 39 minutes and I'm almost done with Divine Feminine because both of y'all have so much union in head and heart. The story is very clear. There's not a whole lot of nuance here. She's not afraid because she's not driving. This moon energy being clarified by the Knight of Wands. So she is understanding that her self-conscious limiting beliefs about Knight of Wands energy, about the divine masculine being inconsistent, showing up and leaving again, You know, being in sexual energy, being very passionate, but not stable. She's understanding that it's her job now to see these traits in their light, to illuminate the light aspects of a Knight of Wands, who's passionate, can sweep you off your feet, is spontaneous, um, has a vision and goes for it no matter what. Um, really uses any tool they have. They're very resourceful, finds any way, even if it's secret and hidden, any way they possibly can to express. Divine Feminine is understanding that she's got to release the loop thinking about the shadow traits of the Knight of Wands in order to stop seeing those traits expressed to her and end the standstill that they're in. This Two of Swords in reverse, right? This is such a nice compliment to the Five of Swords because the Five of Swords is like, I give up. And the Two of Swords is like, I made a choice. I made a choice. I felt like if I gave up, it was going to hurt somebody. And if I didn't give up, it was going to hurt somebody. But I'm giving up the need to control the situation. I am giving up the need to rectify or, you know, balance the scales myself. No matter how powerful I am, I'm not more powerful than the divine. So I'm choosing to let the divine drive. Because just like divine masculine feels, it is time. That Three of Wands energy, those pieces are falling into place. And divine feminine, look at your Three of Wands in reverse is clarifying your Nine of Swords, which has the Nine of Swords right above it. Divine masculine's Three of Wands was also clarifying his Nine of Swords. So you're all in fucking union 100%. And if you doubt me, then look at the next card, which is what? What is it? It's the Ten of Cups. So spiritual fulfillment in the heart space, clarifying the strength card that was in the head space. So it's like divine feminine can't resist the spiritual fulfillment aspect of this union. And there is a lot of happiness and bliss and contentment here. It's time to release that pride, embrace this Knight of Wands energy, and enjoy your spiritual fulfillment instead of keeping it from you by focusing on it with those negative thoughts about it and continuing to tell the story of what you don't want. Instead, telling the story of what you do want. Okay. And that was a big theme actually for the monthly reading. So you'll have a chance to see that when you subscribe to Patreon. That same message was very strong for this entire month. All right, let's go back over to Divine Masculine and take a look at his many oracles. He's got a lot of them today. He is in the light attributes of the companion today. So he is loyal, tenacious, and unselfish. And he's really enjoying this feeling from divine feminine as well. I think he feels capable of this because he feels divine feminine in her companion energy. He is in the shadow traits of the storyteller, which is making up tales that harm others. So I do see him as maybe still telling stories to himself a little bit, that are making him nervous and making him afraid. There's still a little bit of that going on. And he wants to come into the light and in that ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols that are, again, what you want to happen. Thinking about what it is that you want to have, not ones that are going to harm your outcome. You are in the light attributes of damsel energy, which is understanding the nature of healthy romance and inspiring you to rely on yourself. So you are not trying to save anybody, and you are really understanding healthy relationship dynamics, and relying on yourself to be able to fill this cup so that you can fully express it to divine feminine. And you're in the light attributes of the gambler right now. When you get this card and a wheel of fortune in your spread, it would seem to me that it would be pretty good idea to take that risk, take that gamble. You have a willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you right now. And you've done a lot of hard work, and it's like it's not even a risk for you to take at this point. Your guardian angel is here with an emphasis to help you. Have faith. Have faith. That will help you take that step. We're getting St. Padre Pio's healing energy here. So there has been a lot of healing that has taken place, but there are still things that need to be healed because you still have that nervous Nine of Wands energy, Nine of Swords energy. And your Wheel of Fortune and your World card were still in reverse, which is a resistance to change and completion of the cycle. You have a feeling of this and awareness of this. You know about it. And this healing is taking place. And look at that cup, that Ace of Cups. You want to pour it out so bad, but you have to remember to keep it filled up from this divine connection. And you'll get assistance with this so that you are going to be able to be vulnerable and express. And there's your victory. Here's the guardian angel to support you. You already got your Six of Wands today. Look at that sparkling clean kitchen. All those messes are all cleaned up. That home is safe to inhabit. Nobody's going to get COVID up in there. Triumph. You're getting this protection card right now. You want to do, and you know, it's the World, and it was in reverse. So I'm going to tell you right now, and complete this cycle. You are protected. This is an auspicious time to take a risk. You are fully protected in this, and you want to protect your world. You want this world to be blended together with divine feminines. Everything is in place for that to take place right now. Balance spirituality and practicality. You got a reversal on that because you really, really, really need to do that though. You know, Ash, does this card always appear when you're in my readings? Because I kind of feel like every time I see you, I see this card. And it applies to me with my Pisces rising. So balance practicality and spirituality. Don't just be in this place of dreams and dreaming and escapism. Actually feel the wonderful energy of physically doing something, though. I just realized this whole time my phone was plugged in that the actual power strip it's plugged into I never turned on today. Love that for me. You are also getting, you and your loved ones are safe, and there was an emphasis on this, and the protection card. So your home, your family, everything that you have, all of your possessions, everything is safe right now. It is safe and it is protected. You're getting creating heaven on earth, Lemuria. It is all happening. And then you are getting Hummingbird Spirit, Be Here Now, which came out yesterday in the check-in. So y'all better go see that monthly reading because it's really, really poignant for this month. But this is coming up specifically for Divine Masculine. The hummingbird's wings beat so swiftly it can hover in seeming stillness as it drinks deeply from a flower. Hummingbird spirit comes to remind you that the beauty and sweetness of life is in the eternal now, the timeless present. Here and now, you are becoming the person you wish to be, to have the experiences you wish to have. Focus your energy on the flower before you, for what you desire is being provided. Yes, there are blossoms everywhere. The choices can be dazzling. Hummingbird Spirit's message is that you have no need to go about in search of something better, for all that you require and desire is before you. You will know this as you become still, feeling your connection to Spirit, who loves you unconditionally and will always provide for you. So resist that fear of dissatisfaction, the fear that something will be missing. Just be here present. The only thing that's missing when you get a feeling that something's missing is that you are not tuned in to your heart. If you tuned into your heart every time you felt that something was missing, you would never feel that again. Eventually it would go away, the illusion of separation. Wow, divine feminine. Just flipped over your oracles and got a lovely surprise, because I was very concerned when I saw this Five of Pentacles in your heart space. But I'm not concerned now because I see that you are in the light attributes of this card. So you are experiencing and you're confronting empowerment at the level of physical survival and awakening the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. Now, look at this interesting thing. These are the two cards that were in your heart space. The Five of Pentacles, which is the straight up beggar energy, right? And the Emperor card, which is the most abundance. I mean, besides the Empress, which you also had, by the way. So the words on the card literally say confronting empowerment at the physical level, right? At the level of physical survival, rather, and then awakening the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem, which is literally, this is yeah space. If you didn't think that the cards that came out were, giving you messages, then maybe that would help you believe. I don't know. I just was reading, I'm reading this Thomas Merton book, and I keep forgetting the title of it. Of course, in Christian mysticism, and so we're reading all the Gospels that have mystical references. References to mysticism, which is always going to be like transubstantiation, like the divine nature of Christ, like the divine, all that, those kind of things. And there's a part where oh my god, I just lost it. It was about what I was just saying about the beggar card. And oh yeah, there's a part where Jesus is like, bro, I showed you these signs and you're not going to believe me anyway, but like, and I didn't realize how much he says that. All the time he's like, bro, I showed you and I'll show you another sign, but y'all aren't going to believe me. He's always talking about that. I was like, damn, they just don't believe you even when you part the Red Sea. You heal people right in front of them, and there's all the parts where he goes to his hometown, and it's like no one ever believes you in your hometown. Like he couldn't perform miracles there because people were like, "That's fucking Jesus. That 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 shit's a carpenter. Well, he's healing people. Okay, whatever." Like I remember him. He used to be so annoying, right? He was like literally, he was such a self-righteous little prick. Like that's how they thought about him in his hometown. Like just like, dude, I can't even heal these people. Like they can't believe in me. They don't believe in me. They just see this past version of me, which apparently wasn't that great because they were all like, this guy's a fraud. The next thing coming up for Divine Feminine and her oracles is sweetness, which I love. It's just like Divine Feminine, you know what? You sit right in that backseat in that piece. You be as sweet as pie back there, and you experience this sweetness from the divine, who's doing a way better job driving and like passing you snacks. And then if you were worried about your Empress energy being reversed, don't be. Here she is back with this fertility upright. This is definitely applicable to me right now in terms of my cycle. I'm like, stay away. No babies right now. But yeah, fertile, abundant, creative. This is a good time for you to work on anything that is involving gestation, like to be able to um, have a vision and then start to create sort of like I've been working on, or I worked on a dream map for my record. And so now I have this big map of the process of going from the writing of the songs to the completion of the record. And that whole time period that is mapped out is that gestation period, that growth and expansion. So it's a good time for you to like really take stock of those things you're wanting to bring into the world to manifest. You're going to have a career change here, a big shift in your career, either a promotion or some kind of uh, maybe a complete shifting of gears in this regard. But the fertile and abundant and creative energy that's surrounding you is just really going to make an uptick happen for you in this career energy. Your dreams need a practical plan, Ash. Literally. I hope you like your reading today. By the way, Ash is moderating for me today, which is great. We haven't had any like trolls lately, but if we do have trolls, it's great to have a moderator. If you're interested in doing that, it looks like the reading gets kind of geared towards you when that happens. So hit me up at tunedtarot@gmail.com or in my DMs on Instagram and send us your email and we will add you to the moderator list. And there's benefits to that, of course. Anyway, so yeah, make those practical plans. Hello there, Lena. Welcome. Make those practical plans. You're also getting the Star Mother card. How can you mother yourself? And it was in reverse. So there was sweetness, there was fertility energy here. There's a lot of divine feminine energy. There is a need to be nourished, there's a need to nourish self here. And then with your Empress card coming out in reverse in your reading, and then this mothering card coming out in reverse, there's a call here to be careful of being too maternal, being too over mothering, overbearing, overprotective, right? And remember, if the divine is driving, the divine is driving. And this mother knows how to nourish, she knows how to protect, she knows how to support, right? She said to Jesus, hey, they're going to run out of wine soon. And Jesus was like, what's that to us? Like, does it, I mean, is that, should we like, does that even deal with it? Like, is that even our problem? Kind of like he's a little sassy. He's kind of sassy. I'm like, well, he's a little sass queen to his mom. I'll be like, bitch, don't talk to me that way. Are you kidding? And he calls her a woman instead of mother. He's like, woman, what's that to us? And she's like, I don't know. And then she says to the servants that are in that room, she's like, listen, just do whatever he says. Because she knew that her telling him that she believed in his ability to perform this miracle, her just letting him know that he could help these people and, bring joy and light to their friends so that they wouldn't be embarrassed or ashamed, which Jesus was like so freaking Capricorn. I'm sorry, his ass was a Capricorn because he was like, I know people say he's a Pisces, but he was like, what's that to us? Like, what? Go do it. But she put that out there that she saw him as able to perform this miracle. And then he did it and started his ministry, performed his first sign, the first of the 7 signs that showed his divinity. So your mother, your divine mother is there. She's there. She's saying to you, like, hey, they're gonna run out of wine at this party. You want to like work your magic? And you're like, Mom, what does that even matter to us? She's like, oh, I don't know. I just know you can do it. Right? She's protecting you. She's nourishing you. You don't need to over protect or over nourish. She's got it. Let her do it. Let her support you. You got two. You got 2 animal oracles, and I guess I'll allow it today. You got Spider Spirit, make your dreams real. I can't. Will you please make your dreams real instead of just letting them be dreams, though? And the spider for me is a message of patience. Every time I see a spider in real life and hope that I don't have to trap it or do anything to it and just let it be its own little spider self very far away on the other side of the room from me. Whenever that happens, I'm always reminded of the symbol of patience, where the spider, first of all, creates an incredible masterpiece. And masterpiece. I used to have an orb weaver that lived in my apartment in Massachusetts. I lived in a really beautiful area. We had a lot of wildlife and bugs, and we had a couple of orb weavers, and there was one that lived, and it was the same one, and she would kind of move around. She would either be in the main window in the front, or there was like a on the porch awning. She would kind of make a little thing over there, and she'd kind of go back and forth. And when she made her webs in the window in the morning, they would just be like incredible. And I would think about that, like that little insect makes something that is worthy of, like, you know, photographing and putting on the wall and admiring, like this beautiful work of art. And that spider goes and spins her web, and then she waits patiently. Why? Because she knows that the divine is driving the chariot. The divine set her up with some gifts. He was like, all right, you got a lot of legs, you got silk coming out of your butt, and you're going to make some really interesting things with it. And that's going to be your house. It's going to be how you trap your food. The spider's like, what the fuck, my seriously? Like, that's how I got it? Okay. That seems weird. Starts the journey of spider, which is just, my instinct is to make this web and sit here. I don't panic. I don't think, man, I better make 20 webs because they're, I don't know if I'm going to catch it. What if I don't catch anything in this one web? I better go make one over there. Better make one over there. Better go to there and wear your ass out. And you have 5,000 different webs and none of them work because you didn't take time with any of them. They're falling apart. They're not even good. She doesn't do that. She takes her time and makes one freaking amazing masterpiece and then rests. She sits in the back seat and she's like, you know what? I like this piece. And pretty soon I'm going to feel vibration on my web and I'm going to go towards it. And it's going to be dinner and I'm going to be so satisfied by the universe. And then you're getting butterfly spirit. Transformation is beautiful. So you're getting a spider and a butterfly, like a creature that can fly, that has to transform in a chrysalis, right? Has to patiently undergo that transformation and finally come out into the light. Let's look at the message from Butterfly Spirit, which of course also is card 11. Oh, Lord. Joy and the beautiful lightness of being alive and creative in the world is the focus when Butterfly Spirit flutters before you. Transformation is inevitable as you grow into your most beautiful, empowered self. Indeed, you will go through some uncomfortable stages as you let go of the forms of your life that no longer fit the new you. Even relationships must go through shifts to match your new emerging self. If you focus on the beauty and not the challenges, stop taking yourself too seriously and choose to be playful, loving, and joyous. You will soon know the miracle your soul wants to experience through you. Today is a day for joy, so alight. Look around and see the beauty that is everywhere and in everyone, including you. Hey, it's going to be a good day. And you know what? I'm going to the Huntington Library today in Pasadena, and I bet I will see some butterflies. It's going to be hot as balls, though. I saw there was going to be 90 in Los Angeles, and Pasadena is pretty close to me, but it's always hotter than my house. Oh, it's going to be hot, but I'm excited because I get to be outside in nature and have fun with Cheryl, who's one of my followers here on Duong Tarot. So I'm very excited. All right, let us finish this reading with the bottom of the deck. Every single one of these is in reverse. I don't know what that's about. We'll figure that out. This is the energy that you are in union in regards to. So you both are all in the shadow attributes of the Prince right now, which is using power for self-aggrandizement. But I don't think it's that. I think that you're not tapping into your romantic charm and your potential for power. I think you need to be more of a prince to each other. You need to be a bit more charming. There's been a little bit of a fallback in that. And I think also there's a fear of that power of the romantic charm coming from the other person. So there's a little bit of fear of the power that the other person has over you when they are in that charming energy. And you need to trust each other and trust that you're not using this power over one another for the self, but that you are coming together into union for one another, not just for one's own personal fulfillment. St. Christopher is here emphasizing travel. So there might be some travel today towards one another. There's also this story of St. Christopher bearing the Christ child on his back and then realizing that it was Christ when he gets to the other side. So there's this presence of Christ weighing upon the union, like bringing it down physically into the earth, that miraculous presence of Christ when he would appear after he died and was resurrected, and he would appear before the apostles, and they would know him by the weight of his words, by the weight of his presence. Like it had this intensity. They would describe it this way. Your spirit guides are coming out here, and there's an emphasis here. And I'm actually gonna skip over the Moonology and pull this because I think these should be together. You're getting also from the Work Your Light deck, the keepers of the earth. And this card of you are not alone and your ancient ancestors stand beside you. So right now, there's this emphasis here that you got an army of spirit guides and ancestors and energy and the Christ child. It's almost like you are being born, like ferried safely where you need to go by all of this energy that is really needing for you both to come together in order to complete your mission here, which isn't about self-aggrandizement. The potential for power you have is power to transform, right? Power to heal. And you do that through your relationship with spirit. And your spirit guides are helping to direct you there and also helping to check your ego when it gets out of control, etc., etc., etc. And then you're getting have faith in your dreams, and there is an emphasis here. You must have faith in your dreams. Divine Masculine, you're getting support with this. Divine Feminine, it's looking like you are actually having a lot of faith, right? But continue to have faith in your dreams. And then finally, that peace Divine Feminine is enjoying, here it is. The Holy Spirit is descending upon this union, and that is a big deal. It's not a small thing when the Holy Spirit appears. So you should be still and feel the power of that presence. With her peaceful cooing, the gentle dove spirit invites you to embrace the energy of peace and allow compassion to warm your heart. You always have the power to generate peace within you. And the appearance of dove spirit is a reminder that today and every day is a good day to meditate, to quiet any turbulence within you as you embody tranquility. Above, below, and all around you, much may be happening to distract you, but you are called to engage with the heart of a peacemaker, asking yourself, what would peace do? Can you agree to disagree? The peace you seek rises within and spreads out into the world as Spirit sends her messenger to remind you of the beauty of a harmonious existence with all that is. How beautiful and powerful is your compassionate heart? And that's the 21 card, which for me is in a song that I wrote. So that's significant to me. Okay, let's close out this reading at a pretty reasonable 1 hour and 10 minutes, not too shabby today. With these Island Time Wellness Love Oracle cards so that we can have a little bit of help for what we should do this day, what we should do today to embrace this peace, to continue experiencing this peace, to share this peace together. You know what? I'm leaving that in the center like that. Okay, so normally I pull a couple cards from masculine and feminine, but I got 2 cards that fell out in between the 2 of them, and so I think I'm supposed to read these all together. All right. Divine Masculine, you are getting the Hammer and the Phoenix, and Divine Feminine, you are getting Healing Heart and Date in reverse. So let's look at these. Divine Masculine, sabotage, rebuilding, interrogation, repetitive, persistent, working on it, new phase, rekindle, renew, transformation, growth, and change mind. So you are working on it. Today it is really important that these two cards, this resistance to change and this completion of the cycle, this repetitive loop thinking stuff, these things need to be worked on. You have to work on the repetitive, persistent thoughts and fears that are causing you anxiety. If you can work on that today, you will enter into this new phase with this divine feminine energy. Divine feminine, this healing heart card, healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationship or addiction, babes, you did it. Like this is where you are. This is the exact card. This is healing from heartbreak, freedom from toxic relationship or addiction. So continue this healing that you've been doing from releasing this toxic behaviors, toxic patterns that you've had. Divine Masculine is realizing he's got to work on the toxic patterns because they don't work anymore with you. You set a boundary. You were like, no, I'm sorry. I can't engage with you in these toxic patterns. I won't respond to this. I won't. I appreciate you. I've got that place card for you at my table, but I have released any need to engage in this addiction with you anymore. And then you are getting date, meeting someone new, dating, get back out there, plan or set a date. And it's in reverse. So divine feminine, you're resisting meeting someone new and getting back out there. And I'm encouraging you to follow through with the healing of this past energy and releasing this toxic addiction, this toxic relationship, and get back out there and date and meet someone new. And it's kind of funny because I'm kind of doing that today. And then the bottom of the deck for you is the Grim Reaper. The relationship is over. No second chances. Grow and transform your life. But don't worry. It's not no second chance. But there is this mixed message here, right? Divine Masculine is working on the toxic behaviors so that he can rekindle the relationship and be a match to Divine Feminine. But Divine Feminine has currently released any type of toxic behaviors. So if Divine Masculine has to work on it, he not want to be the one that's going on this date. Divine Feminine's got to be okay with that because of this healing she's doing of releasing this past relationship. She is growing and transforming. You are both growing and transforming. So in this separation that has occurred, that has taken place, that you have been in all this time, you have been experiencing this growth and transformation. And if you continue to engage in that growth and transformation, you are going to be able to achieve ascension. Because once something dies, something can be reborn. When Christ died, he ascended into heaven. This is transcending obstacles, learning expansion, new phase, and preparing for union. So prepare for union today. Divine Feminine, how do you prepare for union? Well, you release the toxic addiction you had to the specific iteration that was not showing up, and you start calling in and attracting new energy and going on dates and having good time. And Divine Masculine, you work on those repetitive cyclic behaviors that you are having trouble completing so that you can rekindle this relationship with Divine Feminine and be able to accept that place card at her table because you've transformed and grown and no longer engage in behaviors that cause her to feel not seen and heard, or however this is playing out between the two of you. All right. Go do it. Go do the work. I am going to go now. I get to have my fun study hall, I guess we call it. My hangout with Ash today. And then I get to have lunch at my favorite place in Los Angeles, that is near me. It's so good. It's just so nourishing. And the man who owns it is the sweetest person. And it's local. And they just try to bring nourishing foods at affordable prices to this community that doesn't have access to that. And I really stand for them. So I'm going to Tribal Cafe today. I'm very excited. And then the Huntington Library. So I am vaccinated and free. I can hug people. I guess I can make out with people now. I can do all kinds of things. But I'm today probably just gonna make out with nature because I'm very excited to be in those gardens today. It's so beautiful over there. Thank you so much for joining me. Please like, subscribe, share, click on notifications. Go over to Instagram and follow me over there. When you do that, you have the opportunity to see me go live. Either I will post a live shuffle, and if you stick through the whole thing and I see you there at the end, I'll pull a card for you. Or I post a time lapse with the songs that played so you can get more messages from the music that inspires these readings, because that is what we do here on Doomed and Darrow. I will see you again bright and early tomorrow morning. And also, don't forget, Sunday, instead of being on YouTube, I do a live reading with Grace Strega at 12 p.m. Pacific and 3 p.m. Eastern. That's on Sunday. It's pretty fun. So I'll catch you there as well. Take care. Have the best day. I will see you very soon.